Good morning, YouTube! Well, actually, it's afternoon again. I should really either pick a better intro, because I know I'm not going to get up in the morning, or get up earlier. Today, I'm going to be talking about things that I enjoy. I quite like movies, like, I did the top 10 video with my sister and stuff, and yeah, I quite like movies. I like a lot of sort of similar themes throughout movies, but I quite like movies, and I like watching a lot of movies. I don't really get sequels that much. Like, I understand that there's thing, but there's so much, like, out there that you can do. I don't really enjoy sequels. Trilogies, like, when it's based on, like, a book or a set of books, like Harry Potter, I enjoyed all of the Harry Potter films, even the ones with awful hair. And Star Wars, the first three, which were the intended trilogy, the 4, 5 and 6, I love those. I'm quite big into music. Like, I didn't used to be, God no. I think it was like 13 before I bought my first like proper album CD thing, and I've actually still got it. First album I ever bought. You probably can't read it because it's scratched to all hell, but it is Black Sabbath's We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. So yeah, it was the weekend. My grandma took me out shopping because my parents worked. They still work, but you know, I can sit on my own in my room. Grandma took me out and we went to the local record shop. It was an independent record shop. You don't really have those anymore except for like records. But yeah, so I went in and I saw this album, and it was just a plain black cover with Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll, and I'd heard of Black Sabbath, but I didn't realise what they were like until I bought the album. And I bought the album, and I goddamn loved it. Another thing that makes me sort of go is technology. I really like technology. Like, I've got the smartphone, and I've got my laptop, and I've got my lovely desktop PC down here, and I've got an Xbox, not a One, a 360, because it's far superior, blah 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 blah, rate in the comments if you want to. But things that makes me really go, like, this is the future, is 3D printers. And I'm looking at getting one, but they're still way too expensive. Another thing that I like is, like, I don't want to call it programming, but software stuff. Like, me and my friend quite often do our own custom light versions of software, where we just go in, rip out bits of software that we know we're not going to need, or that we're not sure what they do, rip them out and see what happens, like that sort of thing. So custom software, brilliant fun. I highly recommend it if you want to know how executable files and the like work. Tools. Now, I know this is a bit of a weird one for a 21-year-old guy, but I quite like my toolkit. It's like tiny at the minute, like the toolkit I want, and I'm gonna make my own toolbox as well. It's gonna be pretty cool. But the toolkit that I want is because there's a list this long. But I quite like my tools that I've got all my electronic stuff. Like, I've got my own soldering iron, I've got sort of bits and bobs that have come in handy and that I've acquired over the years of fixing things. I custom soldered stuff like headphones, just some really basic stuff to get started, like custom soldering things and custom building little bits. Like, me and my friend, we both had classic cars when we first passed our test, so there was a lot of fixing involved in those. I installed my own battery and stuff, and battery mount, and like stuff that, you know, a lot of people don't get when they get a modern car as their first car. I learned through that. Now, the big one that everyone knew was coming. I really like games. And not just video games. I like tabletop gaming. I like sort of CCG, TCG, just general board games are brilliant fun, and digital versions of board games. Like, I've got a tablet, and on the tablet I've got Risk, and it is the most fun I have ever had playing on my tablet, because they have optimized the touch controls so well. There's no virtual D-pad or anything, it's just up there. So yeah, those are the things that make me sort of happy. Other small things that I like cards, like not training cards, but like thanks cards. Like, these are just standard bicycle, like £1 for 2 packs. And I like it's mostly for when I can't think. I just like playing with a nice set of cards. I've got 3 packs at the minute of these cards. Like I've got the 2 standard bicycle packs. One of them still hasn't been opened because, you know. And then I've got these, which are my arcane bicycle cards, and these have been essentially ruined by me just thinking. Like they're stiff and they're they're all sort of worn, but it's because I play with them when I think, and that's what helps me sort of process things, is keeping my hands busy. Another minor thing is I like nice looking books. Now I know that sounds weird. I got this. It all started with this little book that I got, and it was sort of leather bound, and it had like the edged pages and stuff, and they're all black and shiny, and like you turned it over and it was all written on really thick parchment, and it was, oh, bookgasm. Jump cut. Yeah, so this is the book. It's Folklore, Myths and Legends of Britain. Now the thing that I got with this book is that you can see the edges are a bit sort of tattered and things, but it's such a good book. Like, talking about birds and beasts and death and burial and stuff. But the thing that I didn't realise when I like inherited this book was it came with this in it, pressed rose, just inside the book, that no one knew about. It's just been sat in the book and just sat in this. I have no idea what it's wrapped in. I think it's just tissues. And last but not least, I like papercraft. Now if you don't know what papercraft is, it's making 3D models out of 2D bits of paper. Sounds pretty simple, but it gets fun. The more fun you can have, like there's websites, I'll link to some down there actually. Download, print, cut out yourself, and then stick together. It's just you, a craft knife, and a stick of glue, and you get wonderful models. I have 2 Wallies currently. I don't know where the rest of my papercraft's probably all been crushed or crumpled or bent in some way that I didn't like, so I've thrown them away. The current 2 bits of papercraft that I've got are 2 Wallies, and they're only sort of, actually I've got one here. There you go. My papercraft Wally, and it is made of like just bits of paper. This one is from Cube E Craft. I'll put a link in the description. That's just a brief insight into what I like to do and what sort of keeps me busy when I'm not working on uni stuff. Bye.